All right, Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rachakodash, to honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect of the tabernacles of David scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, wherever you may be, wherever you may be. Shalom, Yahshua, Shalom. All right, we're going to get into little various article session here. First, starting with this new, which they're both about the same topic. First, this news clip here. And then we're gonna play this video. We're actually basically in my little studio thing where I make my videos, and so we're just gonna play it from here. We'll get the news clip first, and then it'll roll right into the video from this guy. What's this guy? Neil McCoy. I think his name is Neil McCoy. I don't know the name of his channel. I don't think I follow him, but from time to time, just like any other person is talking about, current event things, because Esau's he be up on things, because this is his kingdom. Jay be lost in the sauce, so Esau be up on things, and that happen, from time to time. And so he was speaking about it. As a matter of fact, give me 1 second so I can check something. All right, we good. I just want to check something real quick concerning this news here. So I guess we just stop talking, just go and play the clip.
Here at London Liverpool Street, there is mounting chaos due to a combination of a power failure which wiped out a large number of Elizabeth line services through the station, and also a line-side fire between Clapton and Tottenham Hale in northeast London, which means there are no trains from here to Stansted Airport or to Cambridge.
Now, there was just recently a blackout that happened. Was it around Portugal, Spain? I believe those little areas there. And they, it took a short while, but they first got up, the major cities back running. Then eventually, actually, I don't know if they're all probably fully back running now. But in whatever the case may be, the main thing is that, that so-called, blackout that happened and so on and so forth. And so now you're hearing about the same thing occurring in London. Okay. And basically, eventually, what's going to happen is it's going to come to America, right? That's what it's boiling down to. I was thinking of a scripture here. Let me see here. My goodness, bear with me. I should have stayed in my car, man. So everybody nosy everywhere. Bear with me. All right, so like we'll just do it from here. I'll just sit in my car because it's raining outside anyway, so it's probably the best bet right now. I was trying to think of something. As a matter of fact, let me close that back down and pull up a blue letter, and I want to pull up while I'm thinking about it, because I'm probably going to forget it if I don't. All right, Habakkuk 2. Yep. And verse 5, it says, yeah, also because he transgressed it by wine. Who's the he? Okay, the he is talking about Esau, Edom, all right? The man that has gone throughout this whole earth, deceived the whole earth, lied, raped, stolen, killed, backstab, and just a whole laundry list of things, all right, in his existence, okay, even to this very day. And it's going to be just like that up until the bitter end, because he's never going to change. He's a vessel of wrath fitted for destruction, okay? And even up here in verse 4, it says, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright. All right. Being lifted up, meaning what? In that pride of his. And that soul of his is just a wretched man. All right. A demon, evil, a devil. All right. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. And the just is really more so hinting at the hopeful elect remnant. Then it says, yeah, also going back to Esau, because he transgressed it by wine, which is his ways, his policies, his way of life, and everything else that comes from that. Right. He is a proud man, as we just talked about, neither keepeth at home, which goes all the way back to what's his fool's name? Cain. All right. You shall be a fugitive and a vagabond in the earth. And to this very day, all right, these demons, okay, these devils, all right, they can't even rule happily. All right. They laugh and they kiki behind closed doors, but ultimately every second of their day is how do we prolong ourselves in power? How do we constantly keep destroying these Israelites? And how do we bring forth our new world order? And they do it in secrecy. Well, we're not going to do it in secrecy. Okay. You devils are ruling from the background. All right. All the time. Okay. In secrecy. But we're not going to be doing what you're doing. We're going to rule openly. Okay. and be happy about it and be able to enjoy that rulership. But let's keep going because that's not the point. Just kind of got hyped up there. It says, neither keepeth at home who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death. It says, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. How's he going to do that? By way of his microchip. All right, the digital system and the micro C he paired together is his way of controlling. Because no one's ever achieved world domination. No one. That's what Esau wants to achieve, world domination, which goes back to Isaiah 14, 2 Thessalonians 2. All right, he wants to play and be God. All right. So it's not just taking over the world. He actually wants to be like the Heavenly Father and call himself the Heavenly Father. Okay. So this devil is the most blasphemous creature on this planet, man. All right. And it's never going to happen. World domination is only going to be achieved by Yahushua. All right. Because it already belongs to the Heavenly Father. All right. He says the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men. And he gave this kingdom of men to his only begotten son upon his return to it. Okay. So world domination, the first ever world domination will be the last one because that's going to be the kingdom of heaven, which is to be established. But Esau wants that world domination. And he's trying to achieve that through his digital age and the system and everything, all the technology. And it goes on to say, shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. You see? Lands, territories, treasures, things of that nature, right? It says, oh yeah, lead us in Apocrypha where he talks about the things that he swallowed down, the treasures he swallowed down, he's going to vomit them up because they don't belong to you. You are nobody. You are a fugitive and a vagabond. How the hell does a fugitive become rich? How the hell does a fugitive get gold and treasures and power? See, that's all prophecy, not because you're great. It's prophecy. And it says, woe to him, destruction to him that increases that which is not his. That's talking about you, E. How long? All right, for an appointed time. It says, and to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. And that word thick clay goes into the Hebrew word ibat yat, as you see up here on the screen. And it means weight of pledges, heavy debts. Okay, heavy debts. And so that's one of the main reasons why Esau is going to reset the grid, in case you were wondering where I was going with this. Okay, those blackouts are going to come to America and they're going to breed two things. Chaos. That's the number one thing. Because remember when the power shut down, all right, people couldn't access their accounts because the ATM machines are part of the power source. Not like the actual power source, but I mean running off electricity. They have to be plugged in, all right? They run off of a power source, in other words. So if the grid is down, the machines are down. The machines are down. You can't go to the ATM and pull out money, cash money, because now digital transactions are null and void. So if you don't have immediate paper currency on you, there's nothing you can do in society. And if the banks are shut down, same thing there. The difference is, all right, when it really goes down in America, all right, a full sweep across the whole country, they're not even going to have that option because Esau is going to try to pull in, that digital system. All right. And so if there was like a situation, which it probably wouldn't even be now I'm thinking of it, but I was about to say, the digital system is up. And if there were a blackout, well, the only way is to operate is through digital means anyways. But that's the whole point of the whole digital system. So just getting at the same, point there. All right. That blackout is going to breed chaos. Is the number one thing. That's what's going to happen. And through that chaos or the Abkao is where Esau is going to try to establish his NWO, his digital system, his microchip, and all those things. And that's how he's going to gather to himself all people. All right. He put unto himself all people. You see, it's going to be through that digital system there. All right. That's how he's going to attempt to achieve that and bring everybody under his control, his rule, his power, and confess himself to be the God of the universe. You see? And so these blackouts have been happening, all right? And sooner or later it's going to reach America, all right? And through that blackout and that chaos, what's going to come? All right? You're going to have these troops that are going to have to be deployed, for martial law. Now, it may not happen in that particular manner, but I'm just giving, a reasonable example here, all right? Because these people are going to go crazy in America. Americans are crazy already. And they're so plugged into the system, the digital technology, and having life. Majority of people having life so easy. Okay, when it goes down, these people are going to wig out. And they're going to do it against one another. All right, 2 Ezra 13. All right, one people shall stand up to fight against another. Okay? One place against another, nation against another, so on and so forth, and one realm against another. All right? And so the only answer for that is to issue martial law. Okay? Even Ezra speaks about that, sedition among men. All right? So you're going to have to push forward that martial law, right? As a matter of fact, I'll get that later. Let me go back to this video real quick and play this news clip out.
Many other commuter services have been cancelled. The picture across London is pretty grim. Still severe delays to the Elizabeth line, which is running from Heathrow Airport and Reading normally through the West End of London and the city out towards Essex and Abbey Wood in southeast London. That has been out of action largely, as has the Bakerloo line, the main part of the Jubilee line from London Bridge to Finchley Road. As well as that, earlier on, the Northern line was out of action on its main branch from Euston Station south through Leicester Square and Waterloo to Kennington. No news yet about what has caused this. Of course, there's already suspicions that coming on top of so many other power failures and Sunday's problems at Stansted Airport with an internet failure, that there might be somebody trying to wreck the transport systems here, but very often it turns out to be just bad luck or bad organisation rather than an malevolent attack. For many, many passengers who are stuck here, it's going to be a long and miserable, I fear, commute home.
And so now it's transitioning right here, all right, as you see, to this guy, what's this guy's name? Neil McCoy. Yeah, matter of fact, I think I see his name right there. Oh wait, clicking on the wrong. Okay. Yeah, Neil McCoy Ward. Okay, Neil McCoy Ward. All right. We'll just center him back. Something like that. Be all right. So yeah, Neil McCoy Ward, and he's going to talk about the same thing. And I just saw this right before I was going, to get to a spot so I can record. So I have no idea what he's about to talk about fully, which also means I don't know if we will play the whole entire video or not. But what I will do, because of that, for sake of time, what I'll do is hit the speed button on him. I'll just crank him up a little bit.
Okay, ladies and gents, it just happened. London has been hit by a mass power outage here, which is very interesting because what did we talk about on Wednesday, Monday and Wednesday, was that there would be more of these events. Of course, they're blaming it on, here it is, global boiling. Yes, global boiling, they're calling it. They're saying this is exactly why, but we're rational thinkers, we're logical thinkers.
Yes, yeah, so right there, he's saying they're blaming it on global boiling. That sounds like their BS climate, in the realm of the climate agenda thing, okay? Because that's all nonsense, all right? And which that led up to them, chemtrail in the sky, trying to black out the sun, deforestation, all right? Cutting down all of the millions of trees and so on and so forth, all right? I think it was like 70 million acres of trees or something like that. You know how much oxygen that is to cut off from the planet, okay? And what the hell you think they're going to do with the wood? They claim they're going to bury it. Yeah, trust Esau you want to. Esau going to sell that wood, man, because that's what they usually do for it anyway. Sell it, build stuff with it, all right? But they damn sure ain't going to bury it like they said, okay? Because I remember going to that article a little bit back. Might have been last year, okay, sometime, all right? But anyways, yeah. So let's keep going.
Yeah, on this channel, if you're a subscriber here, it means you're pretty smart and open-minded and you like to look into things for yourself. So that's exactly what we do on every video. So what has happened then? Well, there's a massive power outage hit the London Underground as lines are suspended. The scenes are pretty wild, if you ask me. But again, if you live in a big city, it might be normal for you where people are crammed like sardines and you're walking down a tube line with your phone flashlight and stuff like that. Not normal to me, but each to their own. The amount of stations that have been closed down now, this happened at 2:30 p.m. Now, the interesting thing is around this, that the initial incident only happened for a very short space of time. But what happened was, as a result of that, it just knocked out the entire system. In fact, we've got a spokesperson said some people would have been stuck in the tunnel for a long time. Others chose to leave the tunnel. I'm not exactly sure how that happened. It seems a bit dangerous to me. TfL said it was in the process of getting things back up and running again, but it can't say when this will be fixed, and officials don't know anything else. No one seems to know anything. Have you noticed this on all of these events, all of these blackouts and power outages and the cyber attacks on the supermarkets? No one seems to know anything. We talked on Wednesday as well about the substation, the Heathrow substation. They still haven't figured out. They got the best experts in the UK from different fields, and no one knows what caused it. Okay.
Yeah, either no one knows or no one wants to speak because they was told otherwise to not speak on it. But hey, who knows?
Can you believe that? What else have they said? I mean, this just goes on. I want to get into the juicy stuff because this is just the basics here. We're going to get into the juicy stuff. Here we go. So these were the scenes then. People walking up escalators. Nothing is working. I don't know if you've walked up these escalators before, but it's quite a workout. I feel bad for anyone that couldn't walk out easily. The scenes, though, people just stuck. No one knows what's going on. No one knows what to do. All the tube stations are just closed. People cramming onto buses in the warm weather, as they're calling it. The boiling. They're calling it boiling weather. Indeed. Boiling indeed. Let's have a look at this image then. So here we go. This was the boiling, the global... Let me just turn that off. The global boiling, right? This is the heat. Well, if you look in 1995, what do you notice? Please drop a comment below. What do you notice between this and this? Quite interesting, isn't it? All of this boiling stuff, which I think is going to come to an end soon. Let's hope it comes to an end soon. All of this talk of global boiling and everything else. They've even put out, I've got to show you. Okay, so a spokesperson, this was the latest update as well, said that this power outage was not connected to last week.
And speaking on, I'm not even going to hang on it, but global boiling, all this nonsense. Like I said, this goes into Esau's agendas, man. All right? Because the Heavenly Father is, I mean, the damn genius can't even be the word for the Lord, but I mean, that's the best I can do in English. Just a super genius, man. Because he created the earth, well, he used Yahushua, same difference. The credit goes back to the Heavenly Father, all right? But when you're dealing with the earth and then you have the plants and the trees, they work in tandem with one another, heating up and cooling off, heating up and cooling off, okay? And then you also have the sun, all right, which that's a whole other element within itself, but just the earth alone, all right? The trees and the plants and things of that nature work in tandem with the earth, all right? Especially when you're going into the photosynthesis process and, the releasing of, CO2 and all those different. So, I mean, you get what I'm trying to get at.
Incident. Well, we know why they don't want to connect it to last week's incident, because everyone figured out what caused all of the blackouts, and they don't want that going out. The politicians thought they were so clever doing that until they caused a massive crash. So what is some of the causes then? And then we'll get on to some of this other stuff, because I've got to show you all the fake propaganda that they're putting out now. Oh, this was a good picture. Look at that one. Look at that. These storms and everything. I've got to get onto all this in a second, and these lies that they're putting out. But let's just look at the logic behind this outage first then. So this was a voltage dip. It affected low voltage power supplies in the area, and the interruption caused critical systems, including train signalling, to shut down, leading to significant delays and service suspensions across multiple lines. Okay, pretty standard. There was Bakerloo and Waterloo lines went down, Jubilee line down, Northern line. I mean, these are pretty much all the main lines. The Elizabeth line, which of course goes to Heathrow Airport. Why is it always Heathrow? There's something weird about Heathrow Airport that keeps getting affected. There was another fire.
Seems like Heathrow is a testing ground, all right, if you ask me, because I definitely could be wrong, but I speak as a man, just making a statement.
Know this is like 2 fires now, and now we've got this that no one could get from Heathrow. Drop comments, please. There's something weird going on with Heathrow. London Overground as well went down. So London Overground. What's the current status as of recording right now or streaming? Many services are still down or disrupted. Transport for London is working to reset all the systems, but they said that they don't know how long it's going to take. It's a huge system, and they just aren't prepared for things like this. This incident underscores the vulnerability of critical infrastructure to even very short power disruptions, highlighting the need for robust contingency planning and infrastructure resilience. Good luck with the Labour government of the UK trying to tell them this. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look then. What could have been some of the scenarios? Just made some notes for you here. Number one, grid equipment failure. Let's be honest, that's probably partly what it could be. I don't buy into one of the things that came up, and that was this global
grid equipment failure, but who runs the grid?
Global heating, global boiling, or the overheating of the stuff. I mean,
global heating, global boiling. That's nonsense agendas, right?
we're not seeing record temperatures like they keep lying on the BBC. Oh, record temperatures and all this. It's not. Just use your brain and look at and remember. Actually, don't even research online because things have already been changed. Just think back and remember 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, and you can remember what the temperatures were like. What we're seeing right now are not record-breaking temperatures, ladies and gentlemen. It's all this sort of stuff they're putting out. Okay, number 2, they are saying it could be a cyber attack. They love cyber attack. Foreign actors such as Russia. I was waiting for that one. I knew.
Yeah, he got to me first, right? Russia, right? All right. Everybody's talking about Russia. It was Martha, right? I think that was her name, Martha. But you get the point, though. Okay. We would talk about this last year, man. Everything that was happening, it was always Russia. All right. Because I went with that little joke for a while. You want to win a game with chess, just blame Russia, man. Okay. Because everything, there was some, Russia did this, Russia did that, Russia this, Russia, everything was Russia. So, I mean, you see what the hand that's being played here. This is how stupid Esau is, all right? He's got a little slickness with him, but he's still stupid at the same time because he's going to keep playing the same agenda over and over and over. You know why? Because the regular people are blind and deaf and dumb and they can't see what's going on. But those to us of the household of faith, the hopeful elect remnant, we're watching this man do the same thing over and over and over, and watch everybody get caught up in it over and over and over. That's why he never changes, because if he can constantly get the masses with the same tricks over and over and over, all right, why stop being a one-trick pony if the trick is working? Okay.
They had to get Russia in there somewhere. They said this could be a coordinated cyber attack targeting SCADA system.
Actually, I think her name was Marsha, not Martha. Marsha.
Which is supervisory control and data acquisition, which manages power distribution. So they think it could be Russia. Russia did it. It's funny. Russia has basically done everything at the minute. They even tried to.
And don't you think Russia got enough going on with Ukraine to be worrying about blacking out Europe? And then at the same time, well, I'm not sure if it's Europe. But they're probably most definitely not Europe. But there's certain areas where, Russia, gas or, the pipelines or whatever. I mean, so it's just, come on, man. You see it.
For the UK pension programme, which was nothing to do with the currency manipulation at the time and other things. No, it was Russia. Number 3, voltage instability or frequency imbalance. This is another thing it could be. But number 4 is the big one. They think it was weather related.
See, voltage instability just sounds crazy because you're building this structure for that very same purpose. To withstand whatever, to supply whoever. So that doesn't make sense. And then they said weather related. Well, stop the nonsense, man. We know you still got HAARP, which we know is probably not weather related anyways. But if it were weather related, I'm pretty sure you stirred it up. Okay, but that's probably definitely not the answer either.
Sure, this was weather related. And that's what they're blaming it on. They're sticking to it. So let's have a look at this then, because I thought this was quite funny.
But what the real question? Why was Russia number 1 of all things? It could be things that sound more logical, but Russia, right?
It's a big one. This one here. Households in England told to stay indoors, keep your windows shut until Wednesday. I'm not joking. Can you see that there? It says until Wednesday. So from the weekend until Wednesday, they're telling you to stay indoors. Don't go out into the sun.
That's what. That's a mini lockdown. Okay. That's a baby lockdown from the weekend all the way up to Wednesday. That's almost, that's shy of a week. Okay. Of several days shy of a week, 2-3 days, whatever, three days, maybe shy of, depending on if they consider Friday being the whole weekend. So Friday all the way up to Wednesday. Okay. So that's almost the whole week, man.
Definitely don't get any, nice vitamins and a nice healthy glow. Good for your immune system. Don't do any of that. No. Stay indoors. Don't get any sun. Close all the blinds. They say close the windows. Stay indoors. The health system may not be able to cope. Watch the news for the latest updates. Why would you need to watch the news? What exactly is going to be on the news that you need to know? You just look at your weather app. Oh yeah, 24 degrees Celsius or 25 degrees Celsius. Beautiful. I'll go and get some sun. You don't need to watch the news. They're not going to tell you anything that's useful. But I loved this one. They put this report out and they were putting all this stuff out. And this was to do with the USA, by the way. So they linked this to the USA, said, see, look what's happening. The USA knows. Okay, so they said then, and I quote, of all major US power outages reported from 2000 to 2023, 80% were due to weather. And they talked about heat, global boiling, all this heat. Well, this tiny little pie chart here, which I don't expect you to be able to see because I had to almost get out of magnet.
And see, they use things like this, which are basically lies, generated lies, but they use things like this to back up what we speak of, things like their climate agenda and, other things. The other one, that's what I was looking for earlier. Global warming, things of that nature. All right, to back it up and say, see, this is a real thing when it's really not, man. Okay?
Buying glass myself.
Which that's why we started talking about the deforestation, all those different things there. Okay? by deforestation, you're actually acting against the whole, atmosphere of the earth and so on and so forth. And they know this, all right? They know this, okay?
Let me just break this down. Heat is this tiny little red slither there. It accounts for 3%. 95% was cold weather, snow, freezing, and storms and hurricanes. So just so you know how to understand and not get manipulated by this stuff, the extreme heat they're talking about accounted for 3% of these outages. The freezing cold weather and storms was 95%. Okay, so just so we're clear on that, so when you hear people, wherever, in public telling you, oh, it was from this global boiling, you can say, actually, no, it wasn't. Here's another one. Look at this. This is BBC Science Focus. They're telling you about all this extreme weather that's about to hit, all because Trump is pulling back on his climate commitments. Well, he's actually not, because he didn't make those commitments in the first place. But either way, this was another one they've just done. Look at this. The world's power grids are failing as the planet warms. I mean, you've got to be. I mean, this is just a bombardment. It is literally
right. I mean, they present it to you like you're stupid, because the average person, especially in America, really is. They really don't understand these things. Okay, that last one he just pulled out. All right, as a power grid fails or something like that, the earth warms. Okay, but once again, now you see why we talked about deforestation, that agenda there. All right, and them attempting to block out the sun, chemtrail, all these things run in line with this silly, false, claim of an agenda, man. Okay, so I mean,
bombarding you non-stop, because they know they're losing the power now. They're losing control of this narrative that, you've got. It's a failing narrative now. People are seeing what's happening, and it's falling apart, basically. So I saw this one as well. This was another interesting one here. UK households, we talked about this, told to stay indoors for like 5 days, basically. But what made me laugh, it said, record-breaking temperatures could hit 25 degrees Celsius. For everybody that doesn't use Celsius, that's 77 degrees in Fahrenheit. That to me is just a lovely, nice day. A little bit on the warm side if we've got some humidity with it. Might get a little bit sweaty, but I think we all own a shower.
And so the clever trick there was using Celsius. Okay.
Or a washcloth, so I think we can cope. Oh, gosh.
Because the average person wouldn't even understand, man. All right? Because like you ask a regular Jake in the hood, all right, and say the same thing he said, and they'll swear, oh, man, that's super freezing cold, because he just knows Celsius and Fahrenheit, and probably don't fully understand that. All right, he'll just think it's freezing cold snow weather, like, man, in the middle of summer, okay, or whatever.
Are bracing for a scorching day with temperatures about to soar. They've issued a severe weather warning. Hold on, we've got to get this again. Where's that? Where is it? We've got to get this again. Yeah, temperatures are about to soar. Look at that. You're going to boil. You're absolutely going to boil in 25 degrees, 77 in Fahrenheit. They then say some stuff about UV rays, which is absolute nonsense. A simple search online told me everything I needed to know about UV rays. I'm kind of an expert after 20 minutes of research here. They talk all this nonsense, saying that these UV rays between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. are what cause sunstroke and heat exhaustion, and this is the reason. And they go on to.
And notice the time period: 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Between 12 noon of the day and 3 p.m. That's the height of the sun. So they use those hours knowing that's the height of the day of the sun, where of course the sun is going to beam down on the earth the hardest, right?
All this nonsense about, they don't even include water, right? You'd think they would talk about hydration. Make sure that you've got some water, put a little bit of salt in there, some electrolytes, right? Just make sure you're well hydrated. Maybe a hat, something like that, keep the sun off your head. No, none of that. They talk about these UV rays that bounce all over the place, and that's what gets people. Nothing to do with hydration or anything like that. No, all this is. It says because we're overly populated now, this overpopulation, something about hay fever as well. Be careful. It could be dangerous if you've got hay fever. I mean, you could get a very bad case of a runny nose, itchy eyes. Be careful. The NHS has issued advice for those venturing out. If you have to go outside, only do it in absolutely critical situations. Stay in the shade. Wear sunscreen. Don't exercise, so don't go to the gym, don't do any outside exercise in the beautiful sunshine. Gosh, if there's anyone watching from warm states here or warm climates, you're probably laughing at just how absurd the British media and National Health Service are. I mean, this goes on and on and on. They say, make sure to close your external shutters. When was this written? Like, who? I mean, who owns external shutters? I know in other parts of Europe and other places it's very common, but I don't know that many. There are some houses I've seen them, but the majority of houses don't have external shutters. I don't know where they're getting that from. The British Red Cross has said as well, you need to block out the sun, hang your bed sheets or towels over your windows.
And see, we just talked about that.
Honestly, I could go on and on and on with this. This is insane. Then, of course, they link to This article. What is this? The secret government unit planning to dim the sun.
Oh, there you go. See?
Gosh. Here we go. I'm going to read it.
And that's not new. We've all probably heard about it by now. But come on, man. Okay. And because I'll come back and get that eventually. That sedition amongst men, because that goes back to a topic that we always talk about when you're dealing with the children of Israel. Okay. Because if you get Jeremiah 31, all right. If you get Jeremiah 31 and down to like 34 right here, yep. 35, here we go. Said Jeremiah 31 and 35, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh of hosts is his name. If those ordinances, which what we just talked about, the sun and the moon and the stars for lights, right, by day and night. If so, those are the ordinances he's talking about. Depart from before me, saith the Lord Yahweh, then the seed of Israel also shall see from being a nation before me forever. All right. So that's why Esau is trying to block out the sun. And it goes on to say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. If heaven above can be measured, all right. So outer space, okay. Even just the air above us, the when we just look up, standing on the ground, we're just looking up all around us. That can't be measured out. Outer space can't be measured out. He can't even go but a certain stint into the upper, inner atmosphere of the second heaven. Okay. So if heaven above can be measured, but that's why they out there talking about Mars and moon and space station, all that shit that they can't do. All right. And the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, which they've never fully searched out all the earth. Okay. It's impossible. Hell, you don't even have rulership of all the earth. You haven't conquered all the earth. Okay. You can do whatever you want if you conquered all the earth, but you can't just run over there in China and start searching places out that you've never searched out before. So we know he's lying about that. See? It says, I will also, it says, and the earth searched out beneath. Okay, so whether it be on the earth's surface or you digging holes and tunnels down underneath the earth, or if you're trying to go down into the ocean, these things can't be searched out. But he's attempting to do that because he knows what the scriptures say, that if these things, just one of them can be found out, the Lord will put us off as being his people. I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, said the Lord Yahweh, which is talking about our sins. So if you go from over there and you jump over here to, you know what I wanted, huh? Ecclesiastes, let's go to chapter 43, right? Okay, let's see what it says over here. All right, yep, talk about the moon and the sun, but I'm just go down to the point. All right, so it says, yep, verse 9, the beauty of heaven, the glory of the stars, and ornament giving light in the highest place of the Lord. At the commandment of the Holy One, Ecclesiastes 43 and 10, they will stand in their order, as we just read in Jeremiah, right? Never faint in their watches, what we're about to read here, and never faint in their watches. So the ordinance is that shall not depart before me. If they depart from before me, the sun, the moon, and the stars, for the lights by day and night, Israel will not be a people. If you can search out the heavens, all right, the earth, the sea, or whatever, all right, outer space, all these things, they will stop being a people. Esau can't do the smidgetest, smallest tidbit of even one of them. At the commandment of the Holy One, they will stand in their order and never faint in their watches. So what is Esau talking about, man? That's why they call them agendas, man, because it's just lies, slapped on a paper and fooling the people and thinking that these things are real things that face or pose danger and threats to society, right? Especially when it comes to America, because the Americans can be duped about anything.
To block the sunlight are crucial for global warming. They are talking about this company called Aria. You know the thing that makes me laugh about all this? They've said that, you've probably noticed, like they use all this stuff, you've probably noticed the skies recently, how planes have started to have these trails behind them. And they're quite clear, they say they're not contrails, which is condensation. They're saying that this is a different type of trail. Recently, I mean, we've been seeing these things for years and people have been talking about them. And now they're saying, recently, this is the reason why they're starting to put these. This is from the government and the media, by the way, just in case anyone's going, I've heard about this. This is one of those conspiracy theories, isn't it? No, this is from the government, the people you trust and love, for those of you that way inclined. Okay, read about this stuff now. I was even, I think I mentioned, in the lakes last week, had just a beautiful couple of days away, and this man said, and it was quite funny, his whole family, they had like green hair, all the stuff, all the flags and all this stuff, and they said, beautiful day, isn't it? Look at this, but look at that cloud there, that's strange. I said, yeah, it's called a chemtrail, and they all just went, started shouting stuff at me. My wife was like, oh gosh, Neil, don't get into it. And they're like, you don't know anything, that's condensation. I was like, what? The whole sky is clear, and that one plane that just flew just dropped that trail, massive, and that's condensation. But all the other planes, and they're like, you don't know anything. So okay, but anyway, get back to my point. I don't want to go off tangent too much. They've said that they're now funding this unit. It's called Aria. It was set up by Kwasi Kwarteng. under, well, the Tories, previously the Conservative Party, yet few people on the street know what it is, no one knows what it does, no one knows how much taxpayer money's gone into it. Well, this week we found out it was 56 million on cooling projects. It's got like 3 C's in a row here, I'm not going to read them all out, which are designed to create a sunshade for people to help with our health. Actually, it's the opposite, so it's a complete lie. Sunshine helps with your health. Please, you can do a Google search, whatever you want on that if you don't believe that. It actually helps the sun. We need the sun. Everything needs the sun. The UK gets almost no sun as it is, so we definitely need those rays and the sunshine. But they want to block it out. They've got all these images, how they're going to do it with the planes and all this other stuff. But what's ridiculous is they're saying they're about to do all this. They've been doing this for years. They've been doing it for years and then calling people conspiracy theories who pointed out the fact they've been doing it. Now, we had Professor Mike Hume of...
And all these different agendas go back for years. They plan these things, man. Okay? Man, what's the scripture? I'm trying to think of how it was worded. Man, I don't think that's the one I'm looking for, but I could pull that one up, though. Where it says they work evil upon their beds. Or something like that. I can't remember exactly how it's worded. Let's just see what comes up. I don't think that's exactly how it says it there. That's something similar. We'll see if we can find it. Okay, yeah. Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. All these different agendas, okay, they wake up and think about devilish things. All right, throughout the day, they're thinking about devilish things. And before they go to bed, they got to think about more devilish things because we got to be prepared for whatever devilish thing we're going to try to think and crank up and push out here tomorrow. They can't rule in happiness because they're demons, man. They're devils, okay? There's another good one. We don't have to get that. And they cover fields and take them by violence in the houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. But we really just want that verse 1. All right, Micah 2:1. Okay.
Cambridge University saying that this is very dangerous. These technologies are very dangerous. They're impossible to prove safely, effective, and they may not be reversible. Once he talks about how once it goes into the soil, it could be irreversible. You can't get it out of the soil once these metals are dropped. We also have, these are the salaries. Are you ready for this? The salaries are outrageous. 450,000 for the Ilan Gur, 3 times more than the Prime Minister. Antonia Jenkinson, Chief Finance Officer, £215,000. Pippi James, Chief Product Officer, £175,000. 4 million just on wages of a handful of staff. It is almost unbelievable. Just 4 staff members are getting £1 million. They also just got extra money to do a trial of a brain-computer interface. Okay, the government has given them free reign to do what they want for scientific purposes. This came all under...
And that brain-computer interface is going into what? Their devices, man. Okay, Revelation chapter 13, verse 16, 17, 18. Okay, their brain chips, all right, what they're working on, which we, to the best of our ability to keep our eye on, okay, and other different devices, just concerning their technology, period, okay. Robots, other kind of technology, but the main thing is that brain chip. And then the number one thing, all right, also mentioned in Revelation 13 is the microchip, all right, the one they want to implant in your body, which goes back to what we talked about earlier, that world dominance. No one's ever achieved. They want that world dominance, and that's how they're going to attempt to achieve world dominance through that microchip, which they're never going to achieve because in order to get world dominance, you also got to get the profits, okay, or not just the profits alone, but you also have to get the whole hopefully elect remnant, those that fear the Lord, as it says in 2 Ezra chapter 16. Still spoiling those and those that fear the Lord, okay? You got to get them too, which is why they're going to try to put us to death. And they're not going to get everybody, because the only ones are going to get to put to death is not because of anything you've done. It's because those individuals are marked to be, I don't want to say marked because it sounds bad, but, it's in their walk to become martyrs for this truth, okay? And they'll be risen up with the Lord first. Then us, I can't say us because I don't really know if I'm people with the martyrs, but you get what I'm saying, though. All right, then the rest of those individuals will remain on this earth, all right? You're not going to get them because the Spirit of the Lord is going to be guiding them, protecting them, and so on and so forth. So you're never going to actually chip the whole world up, which means you're never going to achieve world domination. And the scriptures talk about what it says when he is about to fill his belly, okay? All right, when you think you're about to achieve this lifelong goal for centuries, all right, that you devils been working at, the Lord's going to come and upset it, all right? Right when you're about to, to score the final point on the scoreboard, the Lord's gonna pull the plug out the game socket. Okay, it's gonna pull a plug on you and just cut the power off. Okay, And you're not going to achieve what you think you're going to achieve, nor even through the means that you think, because none of that is going to work. All right, for the 2/3 and the rest of these heathens on the earth, including your own people, but it's not going to work for the remnant. Once again, the only ones of the remnant you're going to get are those that are meant to be martyrs. Other than that, if martyrs were never written, you would never get them either. Okay, so either way, you're never going to achieve that world dominance. But let's keep going.
Emergency powers during the lockdowns. And I've got loads more to talk about, but I'm going to cover.
That's what he said there.
Under emergency powers, government has given them free reign to do what they want for scientific purposes. This came all under.
Hey, it says that man, let me see. Is that the one we just got? Okay, yeah, that was the When the Morning's Light. So I was thinking about the other one. What's the other one, man? But that's the perfect version. See, it came right back. Man, I'm thinking of another verse, but it's okay. We just keep going.
Emergency powers during the lockdowns. And I've got loads more.
Because I was thinking about the scripture that talks about because there's one scripture that says they are wiser than Daniel. I believe that's actually not the one I'm looking for though. Man, how's it worded though? But basically, them having the time, the money, and the means and capability to search things out. All right. Oh, that's it right there. See, I'm glad I kept talking. Accomplish a diligent search. Okay. Diligent search. See if we can pull that one. There you go. Psalm 64:6. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. See what's around here. Oh, beautiful. Psalm 64:4. They may shoot in secret at the perfect. Okay. That remnant. Okay. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. Okay. They're not afraid of trying to destroy the Lord's elect. They're not afraid of just destroying even the 2/3. Okay. Because they're not afraid of the Lord. All right. But he's going to make them afraid. It says they encourage themselves in an evil manner. They commune of laying snares privily, meaning secretly. They say, who shall see them? You see, same thing it talks about in Isaiah 4:5. All right, when it talks about stand out with thine enchantments, okay, and so on and so forth. When you read down there, probably all the way down to the bottom of the chapter. All right. They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep. The heart is their mind, right? It says, but the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. You see? There you go. Perfect. The Wadi Habashimashah.
To talk about, but I'm going to cover this on another one. I might do post it to X actually, because there's still more to talk about. But we're out of time for today. Thank you so much for being online. I doubt this is going to get many views. Might even get a censorship. Pretty good topics we've talked about. We're already seeing the dislikes. Make sure to click like to balance out. I'm seeing all these dislikes on my monitor.
Dislikes.
Some
people that are just stupid, basically.
Can't handle the truth. share it with people as well. All right, take care. God bless. See you on Wednesday.
All right, but let me go over here so we can close off my thought about the power outages, right? Because we never finished that conversation because we went into those other things there by letting the video play. So let's get back to Second Esdras real quick so we can just shut this down, okay? Because reset is coming to Babylon the Great. All right. What was I looking for? Actually, I think it's a 15. Where it says sedition among men. Just pull it up. I believe it's a 15. Okay, let me modify. Yeah, that's what I thought. 15. So yeah, so and in that is going to breed chaos, man, because people are going to be worried, people are going to be stressed, people are going to be scared, people are going to be angry. All right, and these things from a countrywide blackout is going to move people into the streets, all right, to take action, because they're not gonna get results. Okay, so a couple days has passed, and people are gonna, the anger is gonna start to boil over, and they're eventually gonna hit the streets. They're gonna do what they gotta do, and so on and so forth, because we're entering into an evil time, right? Scriptures talk about evils and only evils, man. Okay, so it says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein." 2 Esdras 15:14. Verse 15 says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh," meaning it's close. Okay, that time of trouble, Jacob's trouble. All right. It says, and one people shall stand up and fight against another. All right. Because you're going to have race wars. Okay, you're going to have class wars because they're separating that 1% of them, the so-called elites, those wicked individuals, all right, and separating themselves from everybody else. You middle class people, all right, doesn't matter your race, okay, the society you were living in or whatever, you're all going to be in one bag with the poorer people, all right, with the lower class individuals. They're separating them from everybody else because that's the agenda, because they want to take over everybody else. So they need to separate themselves fully from everyone else, which means they're going to have to bring everybody to the same level, everybody to the same worries, troubles, wants, woes, all right? So they can bring in and try to spring in that digital system and their microchip and want everybody to want them, which is how they're going to hit them with the microchip, because they're going to beat you down so badly, all right? You're going to want an outing, and the first thing they give you is what you're going to take, and it's just going to so happen to be the microchip. It says, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. What's the modern day swords? All right, them pistolas, okay. And then you got some of these crazy people, especially in the where is that man? Because I look into the news all the time. Every time you look in that particular place, because it's always in 9 News, but there's a particular place. I don't want to say it was Australia, but it's somewhere. All right, where every time you turn around, it's either a stabbing or a shooting or like some kind of car crash, right? But in London, you hear about a lot of stabbings and things. But the point is, whatever weapon, okay, they can find to defend themselves or to go and take what the next person has, because they have to fend for themselves and their family, their children, whatever they're going to take to the streets. They're going to take to any kind of like I spoke about before. These wicked ass judges, all right, sitting up there, all right, in their pride, because they got a black robe, okay, on a raised podium with a gavel. They think they got power in this earth. They don't really have power. It's just a job, okay. All those people you jailed, some of those prisoners are going to be let free. Other people who maybe were just in the court system, but they never got around to the trial because things went south, all right? And they hated you. You had an argument and you threw an extra charge, whatever, all right? These judges are going to be highly sought out. Judge Judy's, oh, man, that's a hot mouth right there. And it's going to be people that are going to seek her old ass out. She's still alive, okay? These judges, they're no different from, police. People hate police. They're going to go after the regular police. They're going to have to band together to fight. And it's going to get so bad, all right, that the police are going to have to take up for themselves and take up for them families. So they're going to disband, the police force. So everything's just going to be crazy and chaos, man. Nobody's coming for help, all right? And nobody's coming to help, and nobody's going out to help, okay? It's going to be lawlessness and chaos, and it's the time of Jacob's trouble, all right? 911 ain't going to... There was this one chick, this fat, nasty, I think it was a Judite chick, right? She was hanging up on 911 callers because she didn't feel like talking. All right. But hey, it ain't gonna matter whether you feel like talking or not. Hey, 911 ain't gonna be answering. You're gonna get that. All right. Remember that old sound of all those different sounds? You're gonna get that. Either that or it's just gonna keep ringing, but no help is coming, man. You ain't gonna be able to call an ambulance. You ain't gonna be able to call the police, the sheriff, the SWAT team, or whoever, anybody you can get, authority, fire truck, whatever. Okay, the hospital, whoever you could think of, that gives out help, you're not going to be able to call them because the lines ain't going to be picking up, and that's if they're working. All right, and Esau is gonna bring in martial law, and then utilize that to say, okay, we need to quell this situation. All right, this is how we're going to help the people. They're going to issue the digital system and the microchip, and they're going to make the men of the Lord seem like they're the reason why all this is happening. You see, these people don't want this, they don't want that. Like we spoke about with the brain chips, right? Well, these people don't want people to get brain chips. There's a man that's paralyzed. They don't want him to walk again. They're evil, right? Meanwhile, they're the evil person, okay? What does scripture say? Even Satan disguises himself as an angel of light, something like that. Okay, that's what they're going to do. Esau is going to disguise himself as an angel of light, and everybody's going to go to his light, not knowing that light is black as hell. Okay, it's a dim light. Okay, and they're gonna be taken by this man and his craftiness. All right, like it calls him a crafty serpent, crafty devil. All right, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And on the other side of that final blackout that they plan on bringing to America, whenever they plan on doing it, because they might just do some test runs, but that ultimate countrywide one, all right, on the other side of that, you can bet it's going to be the digital system and the microchip, man. Okay, it says a man shall desire to go into a city and should not be able. All right, because of the lockdown, because of the chaos, because of the trouble, because of the things that are going on in Jacob's trouble, man. Amos chapter 5, man. The day of the Lord is darkness and not bright, and no brightness in it. Okay, and so that's what it's heading to, man. We're here, man. Okay, well, these times when the scripture say the days are evil, redeeming the times, all right, evils and only evils are coming. Hey, we're here, okay, and so that's why we have to spiritually have our minds right, okay, because this is not a carnal thing that we can win, which we're not supposed to be carnal anyways. But you get my point, man. This is not a carnal fight. We cannot win this on our own merits. Any power we have, guns, weapons, food stored up, none of those things, man. All right, nothing wrong with having certain things. But when it goes to where we put our trust in, it's not these things, man. Okay? We put our trust in Yahweh while Yahweh Shah. All right? And that's pretty much the end of our story there. Okay? That's it. We trust the Lord. All right? We understand what's written, the bad side of things, but we also know the opposite side of things, all right? Which a victory is written. All right? So that's pretty much it. I just want to go into those real quick to see what it was about. Pretty decent video there. So Lord willing, you will edify. All right? Shalom, Yasharallah.